Hello, friends. Welcome to this next episode on which we will be talking about reading skills. And as you already know, that reading skills is a part of verbal skills, isn't it? So let us go ahead, proceed with directly the topic. What is reading skills, or what is reading as such? Okay, so there are different definitions given by different people. One definition which I liked it, probably I have included here. And reading is basically a complex cognitive process of decoding symbols to derive meaning. Means anybody who looks at what is written, okay, it may be symbols, it may be words, letters, alphabets, it could be anything, that they look at it and they understand something. A message is given out from those alphabets, those words, those sentences, those symbols, signs. That is reading. Okay, now what is the meaning? It is used in a language for acquisition or communication and sharing ideas, information, data, feelings, opinion, or maybe feedback, suggestions, etc. Fine. Now, reading is the input process. We have to understand reading is the input process, because when we read, we get some knowledge, some information, or we try to understand some feelings. So reading is basically an input process, and writing is the output process where the people share to others. So it is an output process. Writing is an output process, while reading is input process. Okay? There is a research done across the world, and it has been found that how much of the time is spared by, in general, people in the business community or occupational community, professional community, how much time of which part of communication skills is used. See, when we talk about verbal skills, we talk about LSRW: listening, speaking, reading and writing. So how much time is spent by professionals in listening, in speaking, reading and writing? And here comes the graph in front of you. See, majority of the time, nearly half of the time is spent in listening, and one fourth approximately in speaking. While reading takes the third place, that is 16%. When we talk about the input side, listening and reading, these two are the input activities in verbal communication skills, and they take the majority of the time. The output activities like speaking, writing, they take lesser time compared to the input activities. Okay, now let us go to the next slide. Now, why reading? Why we should give weightage to reading? So, as you are students in the college, you will be facing various types of exams. Maybe you want to go for post graduation, you have entrance exams there. You want to go for government jobs like public service commissions, central UPSC, or the respective state public service commissions. There you will have to write exams, and there your reading skills are important, because you have to read the aptitude questions. Let it be from verbal aptitude, or even the questions may be from quantitative aptitude, logical and reasoning aptitude. Yet you have to read those questions, understand it, then only you can answer it. Okay, when I talk about specifically verbal aptitude, there is approximately 25 to 30% weightage given for reading comprehension in government exams. The same may be applied in varied percentage in various exams. You go for TOEFL, IELTS, or you go for campus placements, off campus, on campus placements. You will find wherever there is verbal aptitude, reading comprehension comes in one or the other form. So reading has been given quite a great importance in aptitudes. Other than this, reading is important. As a student, you have to read, understand the material, the academic material, then only you can reproduce it. When you go for business, if it is your own business or somebody else's business, again you will have to read business reports, You will have to read news reports to understand the impact of the news on business, something like that. So reading has a heavy weightage as a part of input in your verbal skills as a personality. Now let us go to the next, that is techniques of reading. So in techniques of reading, there are basically four different techniques of reading. It is skimming, scanning, extensive reading and intensive reading. Let us look into each of these along with a few examples. Let us start with the first, that is skimming. Now what is skimming? Skimming is you just go through the book. Suppose you want to buy a new book. You go to the bookstore. What do? First you read the title of the book, then the name of the author, then you will read who is the publisher, what is the price, how many pages are there, what is the font size inside the book, how many different diagrams, figures, pictures are in the book. Then you may look at the last page where you will see what is the opinion of other people, other celebrities, what they have given their opinion about the book. If you can find a little bit about the introduction of the author that you would like to see, you would like to read the preface, or somewhere in between you would like to read one or two sentences to see how good the language is. That is skimming. You are just trying to take the overall preview of the entire book before you purchase it. Maybe hardly it will take 1 minute to look into details of all this, the entire book of maybe 300 pages. Okay, so that is called skimming. Similarly, if you go for suppose newspaper, you will skim through the newspaper. What you do? You only read the headlines to understand what is important for the day. That is called skimming. Okay, let us go for more examples. For example, like number one, the newspaper which I told you. The second one is non-fiction material. You want to take a book, a novel, you would like to look into it. Number three, magazines. Suppose you are waiting in the corridor, or suppose you are waiting in the waiting room for your turn to come. Okay, and there are few magazines. You pick up a magazine, you look at the cover of the magazine, you just glance through the content page. Okay, you look at the pictures in and out the magazine. So that is skimming. Next is brochures, product brochures, you look for it, or business brochures, you look for the details. It's very superficial. Next is movie reviews. Before you go and watch a movie, you would like to read a review. Now what is this review? It doesn't talk everything about the movie, it talks in short about the movie. Okay, you would like to look at who is the director, who is the uh, uh, actor, actresses, and what is the main theme around which the story moves around. So, and what is the opinion of the people, or what is the opinion of the critics. So this is movie review. So this kind of reading is called skimming. The second type of reading is scanning. Now what is scanning? You don't read the entire book. As you did in skimming, you went from cover to cover, but in scanning, no, it's not cover to cover. What you do? You search for one particular word, or one particular sentence, or one particular topic, subtopic. That is scanning. For example, you have a word in your mind and you want to find the meaning of the word. What do you do with the dictionary? Will you start searching the word right from the first page of the cover till the last page of the cover? No. You will directly jump to the alphabetical sequence. You will directly jump to the page where the first alphabet is. Then the page where the second alphabet matches. Isn't it? So that is scanning. Means you have something in your mind and you try to search exactly that in the book. That is scanning. Suppose you are going into a library and you want a book on a particular subtopic, a small point. So you don't read all the books there. You particularly look at the content page or glossary page where you can find that particular word. If it is available in that book, you take the book. Isn't it? That is scanning. Okay, let us go for more examples on scanning. The first example here I have on my PowerPoint presentation is You search where there is some sequential arrangement or chronological arrangement. That is scanning. Second is, for example, you are going for a conference, an agenda is given to you or a guide, conference guide is given to you. You directly go and look there, the topic of your interest or the speaker of your interest, where the speaker is or where is your schedule there, at what time it starts, what time it ends, when is the lunch break, something like that. So what is in your mind, you search only for that. That is scanning. The third example is aeroplane or train schedule. Now what do you do on the railway station? When you, the moment you reach there, you look for what is the train number, on which platform it is coming, okay, where will be the bogie placed. You will search only for that information. You are not going to read the entire schedule which is put in there. You will directly go for the train number, the bogie number, and what time it is coming, which platform it is coming. You will be specifically searching for certain details, isn't it? That is scanning. Next example, telephone directory. If you want to search for a name, what do? You directly go to the page on which the name, the alphabet matches, the name matches, and then you find that number. You don't go from the first page till the last page, isn't it? So next is the third method, extensive reading. Now what is extensive reading? If there is a book on, suppose, a spy novel, what do? You read each paragraph, each page, so that you will try to analyze and guess what is happening in that suspense thriller novel, isn't it? That is extensive reading. You'll try to understand everything which is given there. Okay, the best example could be like reading a novel, reading tales, or reading jokes, reading storybooks, reading magazines in which you are interested, and reading other form of material in which you are specifically interested. Suppose you are an automobile engineer and you got a magazine related to automobiles. In that, if there is specifically you are interested in four wheelers, you will look for only those articles which are related to four wheelers, and you will read those articles in detail. That is called as extensive reading. Means in detail you read it, you try to understand what is given. That is extensive reading. Okay, now then what is the fourth method? It is intensive reading. What is intensive reading? You not only try to understand what is given, you also try to understand what is not given. You try to read between the lines. That is intensive reading. You try to do a deep analysis of not only what is given but also what is not given. So maybe when you are, suppose, reading some business reports, like financial report, marketing report, some research reports, it could be an academic research or it could be a research done for business purposes. So all these reports, when you read, you try to understand what is also not given, right? Next is when you are reading a contract, a legal contract, you will not only try to understand what is mentioned in the contract, you will also try to understand, isn't there a dubious meaning in whatever is given in the contract? Can there be another meaning of what is already given in the contract? You will try to understand that. That is contract. Let us go to the next. Reading comprehension. Yes, when you go for competitive exams, when you go for exams related to entrance for post graduation, or when you go for exams related to campus placements, reading comprehension is one part. Now in this reading comprehension, what you do, you will try to not only understand what is given in the passage, you will also try to understand what is not given in the passage, that may be asked down there in the questions. That is intensive reading. Okay, now let me go to, suppose you are watching a TV, and on the TV screen you will find breaking news, and the news strip down there running very fast, and you will have to read that fast. You will have, your speed of reading should match the speed at which the words are running on the screen, right? Now how will you do that? You don't read each word, you pick up only the keywords and try to understand the meaning out of it. Let us try to understand what is in a newspaper. A newspaper, any particular news, has an headline, it has a photo, it has a byline, then there is a place line, the location, then there is a lead paragraph, the first paragraph, main paragraph, which gives the introduction of the headline, and then there are body paragraphs which gives more detail about that news, and there may be quotations also. The most important is don't make any conclusion about the news just by reading the headline, because mostly headlines are deceptive. They are there only to grab your attention and make you read the news. That's very important. Okay, so look at this example. Somehow I was able to get this example from local newspaper, Marathi newspaper. Two different newspapers, incident is same, but they have reported in a two different ways, giving two different stories. Quite interesting, isn't it? So let me go to the next. So that is what I said. See, incident is that something has happened, and how it is reported in the local newspaper, they have given different stories. So there is a bit of reading tips for you. When you are reading, first understand why you are reading. What is your objective of reading? Okay, what is the reason for reading? And once your reason, your objective is clear, you can decide which method of reading you are going to use, whether you are going to use skimming, screening, extensive or intensive method of reading. Now here, once your objective is clear, you should be knowing that many times understanding everything is not important. It is important only if it is intensive reading. Okay, or otherwise it is important only if it is reading related to extensive. Otherwise, skimming and scanning, you don't need to understand everything. Only pick up important words, keywords. That's enough to understand what is the entire story all about. For example, we understand the entire movie story in just 1 minute of trailer. Something similar to that. You look at only the keywords, you will understand the entire story by picking up the keywords. The third tip for reading is be selective with respect to what you read. What you are reading will be the input to your brain. Remember this. It will be developing your thinking process, thought process. Use a good quality material to read. Of course, the language should be good and the content should be good. Then only it will improve not only your verbal skills but also your thought process. Fourth, scan before you dig in. Before you start reading any material, just scan through whether it is useful for you, whether it is relevant, or it is just going to be a time pass. Understand that. And the next is the reason, the tip for reading is make a preference order. Suppose you are going to read a long passage, maybe for reading comprehension. Usually in the exams, when we read a long passage, we first just skim, we just go for skimming. After skimming, what we do, we read the question. After reading the question and looking into the options, then we go for scanning. And while scanning, we select either only the middle part or the lower part or the upper part of the entire long passage. Why? Because we know probably where the answer may be. There we will dig deep into it. Maybe intensive or extensive reading will be done there. Okay. So let us go to the next tip, the sixth one. We have to read whenever you take up something for reading, extensive reading or intensive reading. Go till the end. Reach up to the finish line. Read from tip to toe. That is required. If it is extensive or intensive, this is a must. Next, when you read, you have to concentrate what you are reading. Focus is important. If you are going for, say, multitasking, I want to read and also I want to listen to something, that's not going to happen. Okay, you will not be able to maintain your attention for a longer period of time. You may get distracted and you may not remember what you have read. This may happen. So focus, concentration is very important when it comes to reading. Point number 8, improve your vocabulary. This reading tip is like, suppose you come across a difficult word, a new word. Remember that word, look for its root words, look for its pronunciation, look for its synonyms and antonyms. Because something that which comes to you while you are reading, in the process of input, it is in use. it will be useful when you are going to use the same word when you want to speak out or when you want to write about it. So whenever you come across new words, go for finding root words, pronunciation, meaning, that is synonyms, and also antonyms. Very useful. This will improve your vocabulary. The last, practice, practice and practice your reading skills. The more you practice, you can finish reading so many pages in lesser time. If you don't practice, your reading speed will be lesser. There are people who finish 200 pages, 300 pages book in a day or two, and there are people who read 10 pages or 20 pages for maybe a month. So what is the difference? Maybe it is reading and comprehending, reading and understanding. The speed of understanding, the speed of reading is not matching. It will match only by practice. And with this, thank you. Thanks a lot. I would request you to like, comment, subscribe and share this video to others. Most important, my request is, please put in the comment box about the queries that you people have, the topic which comes to your mind, the questions which comes to your mind, so that we can make a video on the relevant topics that you are requesting for. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.